Often I am asked, what does a hero truly need? Much depends upon the hero.
It's a Slasher here from the Dota 2 Championships at the International in Seattle, Washington at Baranara Hall. And I'm here with Valve's Erik Johnson. Talk to us about Dota 2, the International, eSports, and the future of everything, all related to Dota.
Future of everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Erik, how you doing? So let's just get right into it. Valve has created some of the most loved games of all time, from Half-Life to Counter-Strike to Portal to Left 4 Dead. But it really seems like, as of late, that you guys have really put in a lot of love towards Dota that I kind of haven't seen you guys had before with other games. Why is Dota so special to you guys?
You know, it's interesting. All those products are special in different ways to us. Half-Life's a good contrast to Dota, where you know, to a person that worked on that game, no one wants to play that game ever again. We have a huge amount of respect for it, and when I look back at that product, I think a lot about the people that I worked with and how fans reacted to it. But the idea of sitting down and playing it does not sound fun at all. So each of those products we really love, and we really do love. We love all the people we work with, and we're very proud of what we've done, and we're really thankful that they're received well. But Dota is special in that it's a game that, because of all of the choices that have been made over the years in the game, we still love playing it. And Dota, we started working on the project out of a group of people that were playing Dota at the time. We just thought it was a really great game. So I don't think it's necessary. You don't have to have that kind of attachment to a product to do a good job, because we find we get so much out of the reaction of fans to what we've done that's plenty for us. Most of what we're doing with the International here, and I think maybe the things that you're picking up on, is really that the more that we've done things we haven't done before with Dota, the response from customers is that they love it. And so, I mean, they're our boss. They tell us what to do, and they're telling us that this is something that's important.
Why did you decide to approach IceFrog and talk to him and bring on this project to begin with and create the next game of Dota instead of maybe creating something yourself standalone?
Oh, well, part of our history is that we're fans of other developers of lots of products, starting with Team Fortress. Robin and John built that game, and bringing them to Valve wasn't about let's build Team Fortress 2. It was, these two people have accomplished something that's pretty unique and pretty impressive. And it was no different with IceFrog. All you have to do is all you would have had to do is go through one changelog and read through the changes that were made, and kind of the brilliance of both managing a community and designing a game that we wanted to hire them. And it wasn't, even then it wasn't, let's hire them and build Dota. It was just, we're pretty sure we want to work with this person. And deciding to go build Dota 2 was after that.
Now, you have a certain excellence that you require for all of your games to put out before they are finished. Has Dota 2 exceeded your expectations of, the community and the reaction that you've seen over the past, few years?
It certainly has a great community to work with. It's one of the smartest communities that we've ever dealt with. Their ability to understand the mechanics of the game is excellent. So for us, it's nice to have a feedback mechanism that's so useful to us for kind of where to take the game, whether it's doing events like this or things inside the game itself.
This is the third year that you've run the International. What is the future that you think of the event? Would you like to just keep it 1 week long? Would you like to expand upon it? Do you foresee yourself putting more money into it?
We've never, even with our products, like how we build them, we've never found a lot of utility in trying to project way out into the future. We'll take the same approach that we did after the first two events, where we're going to go back to the office and probably rest a little bit. But then we're going to look at what went well, what didn't go well. Were there any things that we cut because we didn't have time for this year's event that we think that we could try for next year? And just like our games, just try to make it better each time. I think if you try to project too far out to the point where you can't actually take action on what your projection is, that it's not very useful to us. We'd much rather kind of get in there and tune some things and then allow people to be creative about the things that we do.
Now, although the first international was at Gamescom, Valve as a company, I think, has never had the same yearly presence at a conference like E3 or PAX that a lot of other developers do. And now you have your own event, the International. Is this something that you've maybe been wanting as a company for a long time, to throw your own event and have your own thing rather than be part of the larger conferences?
I mean, I guess we've talked about it from time to time, but this is the first one that felt right for us. We want to, I mean, it started where we were working on Dota 2 and we had this challenge of how do we show people what we've done. The game's not finished, but we do want to show everybody what we've built. And the idea was, I mean, for anybody that understands Dota, watching professionals play the product is the greatest demo you can get. And the game communicates really well when pros play it. So that was kind of the birth of this tournament. As soon as we were 1 hour into the tournament, we already knew we wanted to do it next year, partly because it was so fun and partly because our list of mistakes was awfully long. We wanted to correct all that and do it again. So,
I mean, you could have created a ValveCon for Left 4 Dead plus Counter-Strike plus Half-Life, but you decided to do it all on Dota 2. Why this instead of doing something like that?
I think that need for how to first show the game off drove some of that. It fit well, but I think anybody that has followed our products over the years has seen how, each successive product has a lot of influence from the one prior to it. TF2 certainly influenced Dota. Counter-Strike certainly influenced TF2 in obvious and non-obvious ways. I don't see any reason why this event won't influence games that we do in the future. We're super happy with it, mainly because our fans are happy with it. So we'll take all the lessons we learn here and apply it to whatever's appropriate.
So while the International has been lauded by the Dota community, the eSports community, and even the general gaming community, one of the concerns from both professional players and teams is that it is still only 1 week out of the year, and that they are all building up to this, what is one huge event. It is still only 1 week of the 365 days, and along with that, it may be taking away from other events that are going on. Do you feel that this is an issue?
Well, it's not quite the same concern, but we don't want the International to be so much bigger relative to other tournaments throughout the year. We don't think that's a good kind of healthy long-term. We don't think it's healthy long-term for professionals in the sport. We don't think the solution is to make the International smaller. We think the solution is we need a few events that are much bigger throughout the year. And I think for many different ways that you can measure it, number of people viewing it, people's enthusiasm, the professionals and how they conduct themselves. I don't think there's any reason why other events can't be just as big. I mean, over $1 million of the prize pool of this tournament were funded by our customers, which is pretty amazing. They're voting with their wallet that this is important to them. So I think things are going to change over the next year, and they already are starting to change within Dota. There was $1 million in prize money from third-party tournaments since the last year's International. I don't know what it was the year previous, but it was probably in the high tens of thousands. So we view that as a good thing, and we want to take the things that we've learned from content creation in the workshop and the economy of the game and apply those to the professional scene.
In the last year, Riot and Blizzard have created their own year-long tournament circuits, the WCS and the LCS, which has been generally, while there are a few concerns here and there, the players and teams both have loved these systems as they get consistency for their players and a lot of prize money. Do you foresee yourselves putting on a year-long league or event cycle rather than just one event?
The way that we think about that problem is it's no different than the problem of, and it started from people that build mods for games. So Team Fortress guys, Min with Counter-Strike, or Day Defeat, Portal. We're always looking for ways to pair people that are creating a bunch of value with our customers. We build the link between those, and whether that's the workshop, whether that's come to Valve and work, that's kind of very core to how we think about large online communities. So our approach is the same with the professional circuit, where we need to build tools so that professional players throughout the year have ways to have a relationship directly with customers. And of all the things that we've kind of sat back and thought about how to solve, we think that there's some pretty clear paths. We don't know how we're going to get there, but we're pretty confident that we can get there because the demand is so high. The compendium taught us that users and lots of users care very deeply about the health of a professional player, and they want to express their affection for those players, and it's up to us to build those tools. So I think the approach of kind of running a year-long event is a perfectly fine one, but it's not the direction that we're going to try first.
Now, Valve has always had the approach that you want to give those tools, like you mentioned, to the leagues and the teams to develop their own ways to make money and revenue. But as we've seen in public record that we have like Riot, Blizzard, Activision directly funding the tournaments and giving them money to run the events. And although the leagues have the ability to make money, they have said that they do still find it difficult to create that revenue sources that you want to give them, and because of that, they are still unable to run the game. Do you foresee this as a problem? How would you like to, rectify that? Do you feel like you will give any money towards the leagues, or are you going to have the stance that you do not want to fund them directly?
Well, we don't think that. So we want leagues to have businesses around them, and we want them to be healthy, and we think that the value that they're creating versus the revenue that they're gathering we're not at the point where that's equal. That said, in the last year we've had multiple tournaments that have sold tens of thousands of tickets for their events, and they're starting to have a real relationship with customers. And the International is a tool to drive more customers towards those other events that happen throughout the year, and we want to have kind of a good long-term approach to how we deal with the economic kind of factors that go into having a healthy professional scene.
But you would still rather not give the leagues money directly?
We don't think that that's the right way to do it long term.
Does any of their feedback that they do need the money come into play with how you're thinking about it, or you still want to?
I mean, I would talk to some of those leagues directly.
Well, I have, and they have said that they still feel like they need the money.
Yeah, we're not there yet. We need to grow the audience for them also. That's another part of the puzzle, other than just building tools for them to have a relationship with customers. Making the audience larger is a big part of doing that, and we've definitely done that over the last 3 weeks. So we'll see. It's something that we think about a lot and we take pretty seriously, and if we're doing a bad job, we'll start thinking of ways to do it better.
Although Counter-Strike was always been big for Valve, I remember I've interviewed Doug many years ago, and Valve's always been pretty kind of off hands with esports, but I think now with Dota, it's been a much bigger part of how you look at things. How does Valve currently look at the esports landscape and the entirety of the genre besides years ago?
To be honest, we really think mostly about Dota, and I don't want to disappoint with my answer, but we really think a lot about Dota and the Dota audience, we don't spend a huge amount of time thinking about the broader kind of esports world. We've gotten plenty of feedback recently that we probably should, and so that's something that we need to do. But we're not really experts on. I mean, you're a better expert than we are on what goes on across multiple different titles. We're very heads down in what's going on with Dota.
Do you look at other developers like Riot and Blizzard and what they're doing with their games and the esports culture that they are?
No, we really honestly don't. We've never, throughout our history, there's just not a lot of utility given how much we can get our hands full with our own products and events that we don't spend too much time thinking about that.
Lately, you were trying to get the teams and the players more revenue, and not just the leagues, but help them create a business model with the pennants and such. Are you able to say how much money has been created for yourself and for the team so far through these efforts?
Well, on the team side, we're way behind. We have not. It's kind of the thing we need to do when this event is over, is really sit down and think through what are the right things to go build. We have a bunch of ideas.
Are you able to share kind of the one or two top things that you think would most benefit these guys?
I don't think so yet, because I'd like to sit down with the teams and see what experiments they want to run. From having done things like this in the past, we're absolutely confident that some of the things we want to try won't work. But it's kind of uncharted territory, so we have to try a bunch of things, see what seems to be getting some traction, and build on the things that work well.
So I guess I have to wrap it up quickly, but documentary you're releasing for Dota. This is the first time you're kind of creating this type of thing. Why Dota again, as opposed to all the other projects that you've done?
The story behind how the documentary got built is it's kind of similar to a lot of projects where we had a group of people that were they had a film background, they had worked on movies, came from the movie industry. They particularly were interested in documentaries, and they did a short film when a group of students came by the office just kind of for fun. And it was entertaining and funny, and we all thought it was great. We planned on doing the first tournament, and kind of said, hey, you guys want to come along and just shoot? Well, we should just get some footage of this event because it'll probably be interesting. And after the first or second day, they were kind of blown away because they were amazed at the story that they just kind of happened to luck into with these players. So I don't want to spoil any of it, but it's been a pretty fun process for those guys, kind of building these stories. They really an interesting group of young guys.
And last question is future of Dota. How long do you think this game and this community can last? Do you foresee this being 10, 20 years down the line?
We don't know. The only, you build a game like Portal or Portal 2 or Half-Life, that's a pretty easy question to answer. We'll ship the game, and hopefully people will like it, and we'll probably move on to the next one. A game like Dota, the only thing we know is that whenever it does end is so much further than we can predict that it's not even something that we think about.
Well, thank you, Erik, for talking to me, and good luck at the rest of the International. Hopefully you'll hit that 1.2 million that everyone is wanting to see.
All right, thank you.
Would you be strong? Then I can grant you the might to overpower any foe.